There's different stages to building a smart home. We've made a lot of videos about the pre-construction side, the pre-wiring, the design, the ugly phase. We've also made a lot of videos about the beautiful homes with the drop-down shades, the ambient light, and all being controlled from one touchscreen. Today, we're gonna bring it all together. Let's install a smart home. All right, so in a 5,000 square foot home that has been pre-wired and it's ready for automation. There's multiple zones of surround sound, there's multiple zones of audio, there's televisions, there's Wi-Fi expansion. We'll eventually have some smart lighting. And today we're gonna focus on the installation. First, let's talk about the design stage. At some point throughout your journey, you should have had a design stage where you picked out the equipment, where you picked out placement, where you figured out what you were going to do with each room. From there, it's time to purchase equipment. Equipment, when it comes to a smart home, is only going to be as good as the design and equipment allows it. There's so many different brands to choose from, and this specific video isn't really brand oriented. Now, if you do need some assistance on parts and how to bring this together, we are here to help. But this is more about the installation and the overall concept of that middle gap between design and having a completed home. Let's install some equipment. Installation can get messy, so here's the first tip. Make sure to install all equipment, if possible, when the house is empty and before that last clean out. We're gonna be cutting out walls, we're gonna be cutting out ceilings. If you can, cover your floors, but keep in mind that dust is going to fly everywhere. So preparation is critical. Lay down some paper, lay down some fabric, cover everything up, because we're about to get to work. And it's not just speakers. We have access points, for example. Anything that it's going on the wall, it is recommended to install it now, before the clean out, right after paint, and if possible, before the touch-up guys leave, because if you need to touch something up, they're gonna be here to be able to do it. A perfect example is this access point. This access point could have been recessed, but in this scenario, we purchased the recess mount from Arachnus to make sure that it's in the ceiling and it's flush. Another important part is slowing down and making sure that you make your selections and you lay out the room correctly before you start cutting. You don't want to be repairing sheetrock. When it comes to your in-ceiling speakers, always take a look at the ceiling, look at the layout of the room, account for lights, account for fans, account for AC units, and try to center them out. Now, if you're coming into a home where everything is already pre-wired, then do your best to install it in the placement to where you don't make any mistakes. Things to account for: pre-construction mounts. Let me bring this up. Pre-construction brackets are actually installed onto a stud in the ceiling before sheetrock goes up. So whenever you are removing this, the stud is going to be either on the right side or the left side of this. Make sure to check that before you mark and cut, because you don't want to go the wrong way and then you have to repair it. Everybody knows how to mount a TV nowadays, but let's talk about TV installation, because this is critical. Decisions that you want to make on this is you want to make sure that you measure it. We created a full video on how to install a television, so go watch that. But in this scenario, measuring for your television height is important. Now, don't go by what YouTube is saying and what other people think. Go based on what feels good for you in the room. Where are you gonna be watching the television? Are you gonna be sitting down? Are you gonna be standing up? Are you going to be walking around? Because that will also help you decide what type of mount to use. But in this scenario, for us, 60 inches to the middle of the TV, it's a good placement to mount your television to where it's not too high and not too low. Let's talk about cable management. One thing that a lot of people miss is, how is the back of the television supposed to look? The miscellaneous, the things that people never really think about unless you're working with a professional. Things like this. This is a VersaMount. This is a piece of equipment that can be installed in the back of your television that is gonna allow you to organize and cable manage your cables to where it's neat and sharp. And as you can see, Zach is finishing one up right now. So the outside of the home also matters, because keep in mind that when your stone is completed or the wood is completed, you're gonna have to install stuff into it. Make sure that you get all of your equipment installed before the construction is over. That way, if any cable is chipped, if any actual stone or anything gets cracked, your remodeling or your builder is still there to help you fix it. All this stuff is super easy to mount when it comes to the installation of all of the equipment. Most of it comes with spec sheets, and it's usually drilling the hole and mounting the equipment. The setup is where you need to contact us. Now, a lot of the information that I'm giving you relates to us because we pre-wire the home and we're also trimming it out and doing the installation. In your scenario, if you're a DIY and you're installing the stuff yourself, do all of this before you bring in your furniture, before you set up the rack. Handle the stuff that's going on the wall, in the exterior, and then you get down to the fun stuff. Let's go check out the rack. Now, I know that you're excited to get all of your equipment into the rack, but don't do that yet. You should have done this at the design stage, but take some time to figure it out. Lay out your rack, make sure that you're gonna have the right size rack, that you're gonna have enough spacing in between all of your equipment so you can account for ventilation and also future add-ons. Draw this out, create a chart, and then bring your stuff in. But not only that, before you do all of that, cable management is extremely important. Let's take a little time to show you an example. Cable management is not only important on the connections of the equipment and how it looks on the back of your television, but the infrastructure of the house. It's only going to be as reliable as those terminations, the labeling, and the organizing of your cables. So take your time. Make sure that you lay everything out. Make sure that you measure. Make sure that you test. Make sure that you label. That is going to be critical. There's different ways to approach the cable management. In our scenario, for certain projects, we do it with a patch panel. We patch everything into the system, and then from there, we create jumpers between the rack and the patch panel. In some scenarios, we can't do that, or the budget doesn't allow it to do that. Then we bring the truck straight into the rack and plug everything in. The longer it takes, the more equipment is needed, the more it's gonna cost you, but in essence, the better the turnout. So take your time with your cable management. All right, let's talk about lighting. Now, I'm not gonna go into details of installation because we believe that certain trades should handle their own installation. So reach out to an electrician for your smart switches installation, or if you wanna see how to install them, go to YouTube University, you can learn a lot. However, accounting for what this switch is going to be used for in the room is cool and critical to think about. There's certain smart switches that only turn on and off, or they dim the lights from your phone. Now, there's certain systems that have multi-button switches that can integrate not just one load in the room, but multiple aspects of the room. In this specific house, we're actually going to be doing smart shades. So we are going to be installing multi-button keypads to not only control the lights in the room, but it's going to control the shades and everything else in the house. Okay, so the surface that you're cutting does matter. Here's a little tip. Whenever you're cutting wood, make sure to lay some blue tape. That way, as you cut, the wood doesn't chip. If you're doing sheetrock, wash your hands or wear some gloves. That way, you don't dirty your walls. So you decided that after all this information, you don't want to do it alone. Reach out to us. We are here to help. We offer design and installation services, and we also offer equipment consultation services. We're here to help. We can help you pick out the right equipment, and then you can go DIY it. I hope you learned something today. Subscribe to the channel. Come look, listen, and live with us. I'll see you on the next one.